Hi everyone, thank you for joining. This is Howard Sharron. I'm going to take you around the TeachingTimes library and other facilities in a very quick and decisive fashion. I'm going to kick off with sharing the screen so you can see exactly what I'm doing. There you go. This site is www.teachingtimes.com, and you can see roughly across the top it's some of our titles. Once you subscribe, everyone within your school can get access 24/7. And if we get provided with the teachers' emails, we can send new editions of each of these magazines directly to you. But let's take a little bit of a closer look on online publications. Here we have all the titles, and if you click on one of these icons, it will quickly download various shots, thumbnails of each of the titles. And if you then press on the right one, it will download a magazine pretty quickly, download the most recent one. So here's ours downloaded already. This is Creative Teaching and Learning. This is the magazine mostly to do with pedagogy. And I think we'll actually come back to this in a minute, but I just want to run through with you quickly the other titles in the portfolio. This is School Leadership Today. And by leadership, we don't just mean the SLT, we also mean middle managers and classroom teachers in terms of managing their classroom assistants. They have a managerial role, which is possibly underexplored and not given enough importance. Here we've got Every Child Journal, which is about children with various vulnerabilities and not just learning difficulties, but health and social issues. It attempts to take a holistic look at the way children perform in schools. Learning Spaces. This is a newish title and really links classroom and school design and organization to the needs of new learning approaches. Here we've got Professional Development Today. This looks at the development of teachers in-house and is edited out of the Institute of Education in London. And we've also got e-learning update, which is about basically digital learning. In fact, we're going to rename this title Digital Learning. So you can see every real area of decision-making within a school is covered by these titles. Let's take a look at one in more depth, Creative Teaching and Learning. This is the latest issue, and I'll show you just the contents. Here we go. It seeks to really deliver the curriculum in ways that develops children's competencies in terms of their critical thinking skills, their creative abilities, their technical competence. And really, it's at the cutting edge of pedagogy, and it's written in a way that's designed for teachers to actually try and get something that they can use more or less immediately in class. How your teachers and trainees will use this is very variable. Some teachers use it for research and to look at different types of practice. Other teachers use it just to generally keep themselves abreast of developments, but then hone in on a subject that really catches their fancy. Or indeed, we've heard from some SCIP members where the teachers use it as their main source for their academic essays. Interestingly, one student told us that they much prefer this quality of article to searching on Google Docs or anywhere else in Google, because it's so much more precise and targeted, and the articles are really developed for practice. Let's take a particular article and show you what each article might look like. This is an interesting article about a school that wanted to broaden children's minds beyond the curriculum. But quite interestingly, they asked the teachers to discuss what their key interests are and to turn that into courses for students to get involved with. And it's been a phenomenal success. It's energized both the teachers and the children to start thinking about issues that they've mildly been interested in, but stand well outside the traditional curriculum. Here's an article about developing children's thinking skills and to embrace not knowing. It's really designed to stimulate children's curiosity and to develop a love of lifelong learning. And this approach has been used in lots of secondary and primary schools across the country and quite a few trusts. And it's gone down incredibly well. The author, Marcelo Starikov, is also the author of quite a well-known book called Start Thinking, which we publish, and which has gone around the world. It's very big in Australia and New Zealand, Europe, and we're just about to bring out a Spanish edition. But it's very innovative practice, and I think for teachers that are getting a little weary of doing the same old thing, it's a brilliant resource. In a sense, what we're trying to do with all the magazines is to push boundaries. So it's very much the same with the Leadership magazine and with all the others, Professional Development Today, Every Child Journal, and so on. So this is, let's have a quick look at knowledge banks. These are really short courses. They're collections of articles on a theme. And one of the interesting things about this is that we started doing this because our own library is so big now that we wanted to help students and teachers develop very quick, rapid access to knowledge. So if you have a research project or if you have a school-wide objective, say to introduce project-based learning, here you get a pithy introduction and a series of articles. The articles come from within our library and from without. And they also include websites that you can also go to. Just look at maybe take another one. I was talking to a school yesterday that's very big on visual tools, and here's a quick introduction. And a series of articles that can get you into the whole subject area very, very quickly. One of the ones I think is most important is questioning skills. It's the core skill of a teacher, in my view. That and maybe assessment for learning. And here you have a rough outline of the field, followed by some very incisive articles from top experts in this area. The final most important thing left is the search. If we take, for instance, questioning, here we have, let's do questioning skills. Here we have a very large number of articles, and very, very high, I would say very high quality articles about what is quite a critical area. Of course, the key thing is to develop higher order thinking skills out of the questions you ask, and to get to the point where the children themselves are asking very abstract, higher order questions. At that point, you begin to know that you're having a big impact. And this this list of articles will help you on that journey. You can refine the search by looking at the most recent and sorting for relevance, but you can also look at the various magazines that have produced them. And this gives you a rough filter, which we're going to improve rather dramatically next year, in terms of what type of article they are. So if you're looking for classroom practice, you'd really filter by creative teaching and learning. If you wanted whole school initiatives, you'd look at school leadership today. And maybe if you're looking at how to develop children's competencies through questioning, you'd possibly look at Every Child Journal. So let's see if we can find that one. There it is. So not so many there, but overall, if you unrefine the search, you get to see really quite a very significant library. Let's look at something else. Maybe if we look at assessment. And here we have again quite a significant number of articles, which you can also filter. It's not always the case that the article you most need is in the title. Sometimes we quote very important people in the index, and they will also come up in the searches. So, but we have been told that this particular library is one of the best of its kind anywhere. Most libraries you'll find deal with information or with or academic journal articles. There's very few libraries that actually deal with practice, and that's because it's quite hard to extract what teachers do well from teachers. They think it's intuitive, but often it's actually a developed sense of understanding what their students are finding useful and productive. And all this, we take quite a lot of effort to extract this from teachers and experts in a way that teachers can really access very easily. So I do think the library is rather unique. And afterwards, Brianna Mark from the Plymouth Catholic Partnership will tell you what the response of her students has been to this, her trainees has been to this service. I just want to mention one more thing, which is the What is Good Learning tool, What is Good Teaching tool. Let's just have it. This links into the library in a rather interesting way. It's a mentoring and assessment tool. Let's start here. So there is a teacher training module for this, and what it will do is allow either a peer or a manager or even the teacher themselves to assess the practice of the teacher against a well-researched matrix of performance indicators. If we just look at this one, this will give you an idea of how the matrix works. Here you can see the key questions that it asks, and these are correlated with teaching standards, but actually go much deeper than teaching standards. So we're trialing this now. This is a new service for us. How it works is you just click on a statement, say this one. If you think it's exceeded either good or outstanding, then you can say something like this and it changes color. Or you can say, well, the teacher just hasn't shown this, and it can be, you can say the statement's missing, and so on. But overall, it builds up a very detailed picture of a teacher's performance. And it's one that we found that teachers rather like, because it's transparent and it gives you an idea of where you've got to go. So for instance, if a teacher is showing that they've exceeded the statement here, then you can move across and you can start saying, well, this teacher has really met the quality of performance for someone that's generally exceeding expectations. So once you've filled out this matrix, which you can do on an iPad in real time, you do a quick summary, and it will show that this teacher has performed okay. But if you look on the left here, this will also show you the areas of development for this particular teacher. And if you want the teacher to concentrate on particular areas, then you can just click on the particular statements, and these will stay. Most schools choose 3, and you can also do this, which is teaching standards, and it will show the teaching standards that the teacher hasn't reached in this particular lesson. And here you can write for learning techniques. That too will stay. That too will stay with the teacher's report. Type it properly. Now, if this is done, it simply gets reported to this here. This is the one we've been dealing with on the initial teacher training. And if this is submitted, it will go to the data center. We'll go to data center, which is where all the data for all the teachers are collated. It could save you a huge amount of time. I won't really go into too much about the data center, except to show you one particular interesting aspect. Let's just do this, and in UB. Well, let's just do this one at the top. This is Kevin King's report. Here you see some areas of development, and these numbers represent the teaching standards that this teacher hasn't met yet, and in his progress of meeting. If you click on any of these, let's say 6B, it will automatically bring up articles from the library for the teacher to read, and you or the teacher can select these articles to appear. and they will appear in this area. So what's unique about this service is that it personalizes the library to the individual teacher and to what they need to do to improve their practice. It's both diagnostic and remedial. So one final thing I'd like to show you on this. If you look at reports and the observation record, it will give you very quickly an outline of how the school is doing, and then you can assess by teacher. And it will give you lots of information about that particular teacher for the year in question down here, and for previous terms and previous years. So it's a very sophisticated tool in some ways, but very easy to use, and I think very good for the teacher. So because they can look at their own record, they can find where they have to go next, and they can feel reassured that the person observing them or assessing them, because the observation can be on the children's books and on their children's progress, but the assessment is done on a standardized basis, so they can feel that every assessor is coming from the same angle. But perhaps mostly importantly, it points them to resources to which they can read to start their journey of self-improvement. So all in all, that's how the overall service works. I'm going to link this to a video from Brienne Mark of the Primary Catholic Partnership, and she'll give you her feedback. It's quite interesting, and I hope we'll be working together in the future. Thanks very much. Goodbye.